from the Raiders' 21-yard line. Out of the gun, Shelton held behind him. Shelton's going to keep the football. Shelton's going to lower his shoulder and get a first down near the 12-yard line.
And Bollinger almost got in there, kind of had to jump over a couple guys to try to get a hand on him, and just about got there. And when he didn't, he's got a nice hole after that.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Galena Bulldogs from the Frontenac Raiders' 12-yard line. Down to a minute 10 here in the first quarter with Galena, that 8-0 lead on homecoming here at Frontenac. Big crowd. Under the center is Shelton. Helton behind him. There is the give to Sarwinski, and he fights his way inside the 10 down near the 7-yard line.
Just another good push, that left side of the line. And they've got Ward there, and then they also brought in Elrico Gordon. They've really got some size, but they're also guys who can move their feet. And once they get on you, they are going to push you back.
2nd and 5 Bulldogs from the Raiders' 8-yard line. Wideouts to both sides, slots to both sides. Shelton under the center. Single setback behind him. Helton. And there's the give, Helton right side. And, boy, he's able to get inside the 5. Boy, it looked wide open. And one of the Raiders closed pretty quick in there and held him to a gain of about 3 yards.
Yeah, Bollinger again, able to fill the hole, going nice and low. Just has to, when he hits, he has to keep his feet moving. That way he takes the runner backwards instead of letting him fall forward for another extra couple of yards, but he's starting to fill holes very nicely.
That'll do it for the first quarter. Galena leads Frontenac 8-0. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
What do you want from your bank?
Quisiera acceso a la información de mi cuenta en mi teléfono.
Security, convenience, and friendly staff.
When I call, I like to speak to a real person.
I want it all. Low fees, low loan rates, and high deposit rates.
What if there was a place like this in your community? There is KTCCU, with locations in Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, Independence, and Coffeyville, serving area residents since 1949.
To find some D here to slow down this Bulldogs offense.
Well, I tell you, during that break between quarters, they got a spirited talking to from Coach Smith down on the sideline. So we'll see if he was able to light a fire under him and get what amounts now to practically a goal line stand.
Bulldogs 3rd and 3 from the Raiders' 5-yard line. Out of the gun. That's Shelton gives it to Helton up the middle, and he's going to battle his way into the end zone for the 5-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, they really rely on the left side of the line and using that size, and then you've got the fullback as an extra blocker, and it's just like it's too much size coming at you.
So the second touchdown by Helton of 5 yards, and the extra point attempt coming up is Bulldogs successful on their initial 2-point conversion attempt.
And they always go for 2. This is nothing unusual that I've yet to see them try to kick an extra point. So, this is just what they do.
So the 2-point conversion attempt. Again, Shelton under the center. Behind him, Helton. And once again, Helton, and boy, wide open, just strolls into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. So Galena leads at 16-0 with 11:55 left in the first half. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM.
Children will have a blast with the kids there. You'll be able to check out Mario's Market and get on some best I've seen. We scored 8-0.
And Rob Strambeck with Randy Southard at the Raiders Sports Complex. 11:55 left first half. Galena leads Frontenac 16-0. And Bulldogs to kick, and J.C. Shelton does it all. He'll tee it up at the 40-yard line. And back to receive kick is Ishamira. And joining him back there is Strand. And let's see who's on is that the Kubler over on the far side? Anyway, short kick, and it's loose. Scramble, the ball came out of there, and I believe Galena got the football. Bulldogs say they have it.
Yeah, I believe they do. Well, and that's a young player on the front line of your kickoff team, a freshman. And that's a ball, that front line, you've got to let that go. It's kicked too hard. It's not your job to catch that. And he stuck his hands out and wasn't able to field it cleanly. And then didn't fall on it either. The ball got loose and Galena takes over, so it's a huge turnover. Oh,
my.
An official just got ran over.
One of the Raiders talking to the bench running in. He clipped one of the officials. Flag, no flag. They're fair game when you get a shot at him. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from the 38. And there you go. Penalty flag drops as there was a lot of movement going on in there.
As the center started to hike the ball and then stopped. So basically it's considered a false start, but it's really like an illegal snap.
Kind of feeling like football weather now, isn't it? Kind of a little cooler,
It's
kind of
beautiful,
damp.
if you ask me.
Boy, drastic from last week in Commerce. That was
compared to the week of practice.
Well, yeah.
So hot.
Yeah. So 1st and 15, Bulldogs. Football just outside the Raiders' 43-yard line. Shelton out of the gun. Helton behind him. Shelton's going to keep it. Try and turn the left corner, and he is tripped up and brought down as he falls inside the 40, able to pick up about 4.
This time the Raiders do a good job of sealing off that inside. This one's designed to go off tackle, like they've ran this play probably 5 times already tonight. They do a better job of sealing that up, made him bounce to the outside, and Cleveland came up from his safety spot and got into the legs, made a nice play.
2nd and 11, Galena. Football inside the Frontenac 40-yard line. Wide left goes Booth. Wide to the right is Whelan. And there's a give again, one up the middle. That is Helton. And he was brought down near the 36-yard line.
And yes, they picked up 4, but I tell you, a little bit of penetration that time. Saw a couple Raider helmets get into the backfield. So maybe starting to hit some gaps better, which is what I think they need to do. They've got to start getting in those gaps. Stop playing heads up, man on man.
Helton unofficially 13 carries, 84 yards, and 2 scores. 3rd, call it 7 for the Bulldogs from the Raiders, 36-yard line. And the Raider defense needs a stop right here. Of course, 2 play shots at it. There's a pass up in the air, and it is caught complete. Nice pitch and catch there as Shelton able to find Blake Booth for the first down.
Pretty good timing and maybe just the slightest push off by the receiver. His chance was guarding him close, but not enough to really warrant the flag. But a good timing throw to pick up that first down.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from the Raiders' 21-yard line.
Wasn't a whole lot more chance could have done on that play.
Trips left, 1 wide right. Single step back. Shelton's going to keep it, turns the corner. He's got free sailing into the end zone for the score, 21 yards for quarterback J.C. Shelton.
Well, and there's the lack of discipline. They've been running up the middle. Everybody's looking at it, so they fake it. Quarterback keeps it in the outside safety on that side of the field. He was running towards the middle of the field to help with the inside run, and just nobody there.
So 10-14 left here in the first half. And the Bulldogs are going to try to add 2 points to a 22-0 lead. Again, Shelton under center, split backs. It's Lawson and Helton. There's the give. Helton and drags the tackler into the end zone for a 2-point conversion. So 10-14 remaining first half. Galena leads Frontenac 24-0. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM. Rob Strand, Randy Southard back at the Raiders Sports Complex. 10-14 left first half. Galena out to a 24-0 lead. The first quarter plus just dominated by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and then the turnover doesn't help. But right now, Galena's offensive line is just having their way with the Raider defense. And now I also noticed you got three starters for the Raiders. They're all on the sideline. Looks like they're done for the night with Johnson, Chastain, and Maples.
Shelton to kick, tees it at the 40. Boy, they squib it near side, and it checks up, and Rayo able to slide down on it at about the 38-yard line, but that was relatively close.
Well, it's, you kicked a short one last time and got a turnover. Why not try it again?
See where they mark it. Just shy of the 39-yard line. That's where the Raiders will start. 1st and 10 with 10-14 remaining in the first half, down 24-0. So the Raiders offense going to have to find something going here. One, to cut into that Bulldogs lead, and two, give the defense a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, keep the ball for a while.
Motion left to right. Clothier now sets his blocking back for Beckman, who rolls right, gets a block, has some room, puts it up, and it is caught by Ishimura, and he's able to battle his way out near the 47-yard line. Boy, nice pitch and catch. Well, that was pretty well defended.
Yeah, it was Jones out there, and he's the corner that gives more of a cushion. He broke on the ball quite well, and the throw was a little to the inside, almost broken up. Ishimura with good concentration to catch that, and then able to turn up. And I noticed Jones came off the field after that play, kind of holding his shoulder.
2nd and 2, Raiders from their own 47-yard line. Chance comes wide left. Shamir wide right, running backs in the eye, pitch, sweep left side. That's the tailback, and boy, Rayo.
Oh,
man, he got stood up and bent backwards. About it, he got to the stake. It's going to be close. I believe he might have gotten the first down.
Well, the official on this side, I think, is giving it to him. The far side, I'm not so sure. And they're gonna measure this, but I think he's got it.
Kind of awkward. Got stood up and bent over backwards, but came out of there.
Yeah, legs trapped underneath him and then bent back. Just kind of makes you nervous.
Again, at halftime, we'll go over the unofficial stats and scoring summary. Take a look at what else is going on around Frontenac High School. Of course, a lot of student athletes in action, middle of their fall season. And the Raiders get the first down. Maybe get a little momentum here.
And this Frontenac first down brought to you by Larry Barrett, Body Frame and Towing.
1st and 10, Raiders from their own 49-yard line with 9:16 left here in the first half, and Galena leads at 24-0.
Well, and maybe that first down gives the Raiders a little bit of confidence on offense. First one of the game. Of course, they haven't had the ball but one possession, so maybe now get a little bit of momentum, get the ball on their side, and see how long they can go with this drive.
Ishimura wide right. Couple wide outs left. Out of the gun, Beckman gives it to the single setback Clothier, and he is planted, and actually looks like he lost a yard.
Yeah, just very difficult to run straight up the middle on this Galena defense. That's going to be a tough road to hoe most of the night.
2nd and 11, Raiders from their own 48-yard line. A nice crowd on homecoming. A little breeze now. Look at that again. North breeze kicking up a little bit. Been damp, but a lot cooler than last week. I know that. Like I said, feeling like football weather now. Out of the I formation. Behind Beckman, who's under center. Give it to the tailback. That is Rayo. And, boy, he's flirting with midfield, but that's about it.
Yeah, maybe could have bounced that to the outside very quickly, but, of course, that hole's supposed to go more up the middle. You can't really blame him searching for the hole at the middle where it's supposed to be. Just able to pick up the yard that was lost on the previous play.
So 3rd and 10, Raiders from their own 49-yard line with 7:54 left here in the first half. And Galena, the 24-0 lead. Wide right goes Ishimura. Got a wide out to the left. That's Chance. Out of the gun, Beckman. Blocking backs to both sides, dropping back, looking to pass, forced to scramble. Has a little bit of room this side, and he is dragged down, brought down at the 45-yard line after a pickup of 6.
Well, he had time initially, but they were going with the double move on the near side here with Chance. He was doing a stop and go, and boy, he came open. But by the time he came open, Beckman was having to scramble and didn't see him as he was wide open down the near sideline.
So Beckman comes to the sideline, so apparently we are going to punt. 4th and 6 for the Raiders from the Bulldogs' 45-yard line with 7:07 left first half, and Galena with a 24-0 lead. I guess you could probably try and draw them, and if you get a 5-yard mark off, you can use it for the punt. Yeah.
Possible fake here as well, I would think.
Gates back. Wobbly snap. Gates gets it. Kick away. And it checks up inside the 20, rolls down inside the 15, down near the 14. So that's where the Bulldogs will start 1st and 10 from their own 14-yard line with 6:43 left first half. And Galena with the big 24-0 lead. Again, next week the Raiders on the road go to Parsons, who got the 3-0 start. And Galena will head the Keeney Valley.
And Parsons tonight is at Baxter, and they have a 21-0 lead. Pittsburgh hosting Fort Scott is up 7-0, and Labette County hosting Winfield up 14-6.
Bulldogs 1st and 10 from their 14. There's a give, and boy, busted another one. That is Helton, and he's able to fight his way out near the 25-yard line, and I believe he got a first down.
Yeah, and if that line is able to get to the linebackers, not just the defensive line, get to those linebackers too, then they just create huge gashes.
14 carries, 95 yards, 2 scores for Joseph Helton. 1st and 10, Galena from its own 25-yard line. Clock moving down to 6:25 left in the first half, and it's 24-0. Shelton under the center. Helton the single setback, gets the football, and he fights his way up the middle for another first down out near the 36-yard line.
And now they're going to the right side of the line. First quarter was all left side of the line. Now they're using that right side and getting basically the same results.
Over the century mark for Helton, 15 carries, 106 yards. 1st and 10. Bulldogs from their own 35-yard line with 5:59 remaining in the first half, trying to add to a 24-0 lead. Coming wide to the right is M.J. Jones. They got a wide out to the left side. There's the give once again. This time it's Lawson. He's out across the 40, out near the 43-yard line, so big gain on first down.
Yeah, right side of the line again. It's been that way this pretty much every play of this drive. Showing that they can, doesn't matter which side they go to, that offensive line, it's a new offensive line from last year, but they're mostly, they're all juniors and seniors, a couple of seniors out there, so they do have some experience, and they're showing it.
2nd and 3 for the Bulldogs from their own 43-yard line, and reversing out is Shelton. Yeah, this time the Raider defense stiffens, and I believe that was Cooper Lawson stopped for a gain of only a yard.
And Dylan Inch on the defensive line, able to get off a block and made that stop for the Raiders.
3rd and 1, Bulldogs from their own 44-yard line. Wide left goes Logan Henderson. Wide to the right is Blake Booth. Under the center, that Shelton keeps it. Straight up the middle. He's got the first down out to the 46-yard line.
Yeah, I think the only way you stop that is to basically go with the 6-man front, and you got to put 2 linemen in both A-gaps. It's about your only chance of stopping that one.
8 carries, 58 yards, and a touchdown for J.C. Shelton. 1st and 10, Bulldogs from their own 46-yard line as they sustained drive here, down to 4:28 remaining in the first half, and Galena trying to add a 24-0 lead.
And I just got a score update at the end of the third quarter. Centralia 14, Colgan 0.
1st and 10, Bulldogs from their own 46-yard line. Wideouts both sides, slots both sides. Single setback. Lawson behind Shelton. Takes a snap, tries the right side, crosses midfield, spins down near the 45 of the Raiders, and a gain of 9, just a yard short of a first down.
Galena's line, it's impressive what they're doing right now because, there's no missed assignments, no missed blocks. They know exactly who's blocking who. Their backs block extremely well also, so when they get them coming through the hole first, they're taking up those linebackers and safeties and just basically running at will.
2nd, a long one for the Bulldogs from the Raiders' 46-yard line. Wideouts to both sides, slots both sides. Shelton, the dive. Tell you what, Helton's battling. He got stood up. He got stoned about the line of scrimmage, and I believe he got stopped short of the first down after a gain of maybe a half yard, but he was still battling a number of Raider defenders there.
And this time they try an inside trap, and Raiders did a pretty good job of stoning this one, and I think it was Rayo that came up and put a pretty good pop on him. And now that's 3rd and short. How much you want to bet? Quarterback sneak again.
Bulldogs just inside the Raiders' 45-yard line, 3rd and about a foot, with 2:51 left first half, and Galena trying to add to a 24-0 lead. Out of the gun, Shelton keeps it. Now takes straight up middle. Got the first down, but not much more as he's thrown that back by about 4 Raiders after a gain of only a yard, but did get the first down.
Yeah, they don't go with the sneak. They go with that quarterback follow. He's got both backs leading through, and this time the Raiders do a nice job at defending it. It closed up the hole, but when you don't need much, you don't need to get much.
Right. When you had that 3rd and a foot, you'd almost consider maybe thinking they were going to go that sneak and try and put it in the air, but then if you think too hard and it gets picked off turnover, you'd be kicking yourself.
Well, it wouldn't shock me if they went with what they scored on the long touchdown run by the quarterback. You fake it up the middle and let him keep. That Raider defense so focused on the first back through.
1st and 10, Bulldogs from the Raiders' 44-yard line, down to 2:15 left in the first half. Galena, the 24-0 lead. And there's a give, and sweeping the left side is Sarwinski, splits defenders, and then he's dragged down at the 34-yard line. Penalty flag is down. Boy, there haven't been many flags tonight.
No, this should be a hold, I think, on M.J. Jones out there.
It is. Sarwinski picked up 11, got the first down, but it's going to come back.
Of course, this should be from the spot of the foul.
After the mark-off, it'll be 1st and about 17.
But there was a little bit of that misdirection, and not quite as open as the last time they did misdirection, but the Raiders benefit from the holding call.
1st and 17 for the Bulldogs. Football just outside their own 48-yard line with 1:51 clock moving. Galena, the 24-0 lead. Wideouts both sides, slots both sides. Out of the gun, that's Shelton with Helton behind him. And there's a give. And that is Helton. And he's down at the 45-yard line after a gain of about 7.
Yeah, he bounced off of about 4 Raider tacklers. Played really defense pretty well. It should have been maybe a 2 or 3 yard gain. Manages to pick up the 7. Just good hard running.
And at 22, clock moving. Galena leads at 24-0. Bulldogs face a 2nd and 11. The ball just outside the Raiders' 45. Remember, they don't have the kicking game, so you got to be thinking you're going for the touchdown. Yeah, there's a give. Sweep to the right side. There's Lawson trying to turn the corner. Does. And, boy, he turns it in a pretty nice gain down to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, and the man that had outside contain initially was in pretty good position, but then for some reason decided to go to the inside thinking you needed to make the tackle, and then he gave up the edge. This play really should have been stretched out for very little gain.
Timeout taken by Galena with 52.3 seconds left here in the first half. Bulldogs with the 24-0 lead. They'll face a 3rd and 3 from the Raiders' 37-yard line. An impressive performance by the Bulldogs here going on first half here.
No doubt. You knew what you were going to get. You were going to get the physical running game coming right at you, and that's what we've gotten. And so far tonight, the Raiders just, quite frankly, they haven't handled it particularly well. And maybe some of these, what you hate to say, younger Raiders, this is the 4th game of the year, and you kind of have to grow up fast when you're put out there on the field, but maybe not as prepared for the size and strength of Galena as maybe we were hoping.
Well, if you recall last year, it got down quick to Galena and then made a nice comeback, got a little exciting there at the end. I think even last year with your veteran crew, they were kind of surprised by the size and strength of big, but then kind of warmed up, got into it, and actually it turned out being a pretty good ball game. But boy, all indications are here. This is obviously 24-0 lead, and Galena trying to drive a pretty one-sided here in the first half. 3rd and 3 Bulldogs from the Raiders, 37. There's a give to the tailback and the first down, and that is Helton. He's finally slammed down at the 27-yard line for gain of another 10 yards.
And the clock stops with the first down. Of course, it'll start as soon as the chains are set, and Galena opting to not take the timeout as the clock winds, so it's going to be under 40 now.
And 1st and 10, Bulldogs football at the 25 of the Raiders. Down to 32 seconds remaining here in the first half. Split backs behind the quarterback. Sheldon gives, sweep to the left side. That's Sarwinski. And still on his feet inside the 20, down to the 15, and believe he got the first down.
Yeah, he's right at the sticks. And I think Galena's taking a timeout this time, I think regardless whether it's a first down or not.
So a timeout taken by Galena. 19.4 seconds remaining first half. Galena leads at 24-0. Let's take a 30-second break. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM. Rob Strand, Randy Southard back at the Raiders Sports Complex. 19.4 seconds remaining first half. Galena leads at 24-0. The Bulldogs with a 1st and 10 from the Raiders' 15-yard line. And, boy, imperative to hear the defense holds and not give Galena any more points heading in at halftime.
Yeah, it definitely goes without saying. Raiders desperately need to get to the locker room and try to figure a few things out.
And we'll get the football to start the second half. Shelton out of the gun. Helton behind him, the running back. Boy, movement all over the place. You had a receiver going. You had a tailback taking a couple steps. But you saw what they were doing with it. They did hand it to Helton going off the right side.
Yeah, that Raider defense was moving around a lot, never crossing the line of scrimmage, but moving around an awful lot. I think created that bit of distraction and got the false start.
So 1st and 15 for the Bulldogs from the Raiders' 20-yard line. Clock down to 10 seconds, the play clock. Game clock 18.5. Boy, they got to hurry. It's down to 4-3. In motion left to right. And then dropping back, rolling right. That Shelton puts it up. He is caught by Sarwinski. Inside move, inside the 5, and he's run out of bounds about the 2-yard line with 10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and the deep man was covered. The short man, the outside linebacker slash safety on this side, just a little late in his coverage, and then overran it with a nice cutback that the receiver made. Turn it up and get a big gain. So down to that's the 2-yard line.
1st and goal. Bulldogs from the Raiders 2. Now, Galena has a timeout remaining, trying to add a 24-0 lead.
And you figure they got 2 plays to try to get it in from the 3.
Shelton under the center. Helton set back behind him. Lawson slot left. There's a give. That is Helton. He goes in for the 2-point touchdown run off the left side.
And again, defense fairly well. He was hit maybe for a yard gain, hit about the 2-yard line, but just good hard running gets him into the end zone.
With 6.8 seconds. Helton from 2 yards out. His 3rd touchdown. And another 2-point conversion attempt by the Bulldogs, trying to add to this 30-0 lead. Out of the wishbone. Shelton under center. Rolls right, looking to throw. Puts it up, and it is caught. And on the receiving end, no other than Joseph Helton. So the 2-point conversion is good. 6.8 seconds remaining first half. 32-0. Galena leading Frontenac. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM. Rob Strand, Randy Southard. Back of the Raiders Sports Complex. 6.8 seconds remaining first half. Galena leads Frontenac 32-0. Bulldogs to kick off, and J.C. Shelton teased it at the 40. Back to receive the kick. Drops to Shamira. Back there Strand. Also Kubler. Back near their 15-yard line. And Bulldogs been going short on the kickoff. I'm assuming that's what they'll be doing here. Raiders will have the choice to start the second half. But again, a short kick. Bounces a couple of times, and it is picked up on the run as Strand tried to split a couple of defenders. Was brought down at 37, but a nice effort there.
It came up quick, and I tell you, almost squirted through there. Could have got exciting real quick. Strand has some real speed.
So the Raiders with the 1st and 10 from their own, called 38-yard line with 4.6 seconds left in the first half. First half dominated by Galena. The Bulldogs with the 32-0 lead.
And you would think Frontenac likely to just take a knee and get out of this half and get to the locker room. And the injuries, another offensive lineman out now, so backups coming in on that offensive line, although the Raiders are in shotgun formation.
Out of the gun, Beckman. Go left side. That's Cleland. And he is dragged down at midfield after a gain of 13.
Nice stat patter there is the half ends.
So we go to half. And all Galena in that first half. The Bulldogs with a 32-0 lead. We'll be back with the unofficial stats scoring summary. Look at what's going on at Frontenac High School and much more after we take a 2-minute break. 2 minutes. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM. Rob Strand, Randy Southard back at the Raiders Sports Complex. We're at halftime. The Galena Bulldogs with a 32-0 lead over the Frontenac Raiders. And, if you're a Raiders fan, it was a rough first half. Now they will get the football to start the second half. And, Bulldogs impressive. And, you listen to the scoring summary and the stats, you understand why. The Bulldogs, quarterback J.C. Sheldon had 10 carries, 68 yards and a touchdown. Nick Sarwinski, couple of carries, good for 15 yards. Joseph Helton, 19 carries, 126 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Cooper Lawson, 6 carries, 26 yards through the air. J.C. Shelton, 2 completions, 2 attempts for 33 yards. Frontenac Raiders, Jake Beckman, 1 carry, 6 yards. Ryan Rayo, a couple of carries, 3 yards. Gage Clothier, 2 carries, 6 yards. Alex Johnson, a carry for -1 through the air. Beckman, 2 of 3 for 21 yards. And that's it. Those are the offensive stats for both sides. Here's the scoring summary. The Bulldogs' nice opening kickoff return set them up in excellent condition, and Joseph Helton went in from 4 yards out with 10:03 left in the first quarter. And Cooper Lawson ran in the 2-point conversion. Galena led it 8-0 with 10:08 left in the first quarter. And that's the way the first quarter ended, with the Bulldogs up 8-0. In that second quarter, all Galena. 11:55 left in the first half. Helton went in from 5 yards out. Helton also tacked on the 2-point conversion. It was Galena 16, Frontenac nothing, with 11:55 left in the first half. And then with 10:14 remaining in the second quarter, Shelton scored from 21 yards out. Helton did the honors for the 2-point conversion. Galena 24-0 with 10:14 left in the first half. And then with 6.8 seconds remaining in the first half, Helton once again, this time from 2 yards out. The 2-point conversion, a pass from Shelton to Helton, gave the Bulldogs a 32-0 lead with 6.8 seconds remaining in the first half. That's where we are at halftime. Galena leading Frontenac by a score of 32-0. And again, first half dominated by the Bulldogs. The Raiders will have the choice to start the second half and assume to take the football and try and cut into that Bulldogs lead. But very impressive performance by Bo Sarwinski's Bulldogs. And, Mark Smith going to have to, be talking to his Raiders, see if they want to make a game of it coming out in this second half. So it'll be interesting here on homecoming. And again, congratulations to Cale Franklin, the homecoming king, and the homecoming queen, Caroline McKnight. They were crowned prior to kickoff, and the Frontenac band performing now at halftime to a nice crowd, stuck around. It was homecoming, and Galena with that 32-0 lead, and we're going to come back and look at some of the other goings on at Frontenac High School after we take another 2-minute break. 2 minutes. You're listening to Frontenac football on 103.5 FM.
How many points for the
Rob Strand, Randy Southard back at the Raiders Sports Complex on homecoming as the Frontenac Raider Marching Band performing. And, first half all Galena, the Bulldogs with a 32-0 lead. And homecoming, crowd stuck around, but, it was a pretty bleak first half if you're a Raiders fan, and you got a big hole to dig out of. And, again, they'll have a choice to start second half, take the football, see if they can cut into that lead. And, of course, we're in the midst of the football season, starting district play here tonight, but a lot of other the student athletes in action at Frontenac. I know they've been busy all week, and Randy will update you on some of those folks.
Yeah, let's start with volleyball tonight. Last Saturday, they participated in a tournament over in Erie. Got third in that tournament, a tough competition over in Erie. And then they were also in action on Tuesday. They were at Fredonia against Fredonia and Erie, and they split those two matches. Overall, the Lady Raiders are 13-6 on the season thus far. Next action for the Lady Raiders is Thursday at home against Parsons and Southeast. Looking at cross country, they were in Iola this week, and they did do the JV race, but apparently the heat index was so bad over there on Tuesday, I believe it was, that they canceled the varsity race. Now, they also, last Saturday, went over to Missouri Southern, and senior Jessica Peterson finished fourth over there at the Southern Stampede. Impressive finish for Jessica. Their next meet is this coming Thursday. It's the Pittsburgh meet. Of course, that's held out at Four Oaks Golf Course. Girls golf, they played twice during this last week. Monday, they were over at Chanute in a very difficult tournament over there. The team, they finished 7th. The top finisher was Brianna Green in 23rd place. I looked at some of the scores, and some of those girls were shooting under par, shooting fairly low scores. So a tough tournament over there. And then Thursday, they were at Fredonia, and the team finished in 4th place. The top two finishers were Kiara Threffel with 15th place, and Elizabeth Mosier at 17th place. The girls golf next week, they have two tournaments. Tuesday, Pittsburgh, and then Thursday, they're over at Columbus. So that's a look at the other sports that are going on right now over at Frontenac High School.
So keep them busy, and of course, student athletes working hard all season long. So again, if you want to go to the school's website, they have some of the schedules there. You can go be an athletic supporter of Frontenac Raiders, right, Randy, as you always are. Did you have any updates as far as the scores go? I know you had the Colgan Centralia. Now that was a 6 o'clock start. They got going early.
And that's gone to a final. Centralia has won the game 20-0 over Colgan tonight. And the last score I had, Parsons at Baxter. Parsons with a 21-0 lead over the Lions. At the half, Pittsburgh 14, Fort Scott nothing. Southeast hosting Northeast. Southeast with a 20-0 lead. Coffeyville hosting Independence, and Coffeyville 44, Independence 6. And then Labette County is hosting Winfield in a tight game. Labette County 14, Winfield 6. And then at the half, Girard is at Burlington. Right now, Burlington with the 22-6 lead over Girard.
So some of those teams are district play tonight, and the second season underway, and some interesting scores there. And again, look on down the road. Frontenac will hit the road next week, be at Parsons, take on a much improved, apparently, Vikings team there with new coach Kurt Freese, local kid, played out of Pitt State and returned to coach the Vikings, and they're off to a good start. And Raiders are going to head that way next Friday. And these Galena Bulldogs will have a long trip over to Caney Valley.
And Caney Valley's at Columbus tonight. To me, a very interesting game. Columbus kind of struggling so far at the beginning of the year, but Caney happened to go to Columbus. Yet to see a score posted anywhere. So as soon as I get word on that one, we'll pass it along. But I've been very interested because Caney, off to a great start, but you just never know until they play somebody from around here where we can gauge it a little bit better.
And Columbus has been struggling a little bit, but again, you get in district play, a little more riding on it, and you can see if that team's improved during those first 3 games. And here the Galena Bulldogs with a 32-0 lead over the Frontenac Raiders at half. And if you're Bill Sarwinski, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. He shouldn't have any qualms with anything his team has done on the field. Offensively, it's more of the same. I just keep pounding away and straight ahead blocking. I wouldn't change a thing. The only thing, depending on how the start of this, this first possession for Frontenac goes, if Frontenac happens to score first in this game and keeps it going, if they don't and Galena puts on another score, then I think Sarwinski's got to be thinking about getting these players out of the game, quite frankly, and not risking any injury. Defensively, I think it's going to be all about just keep going after the quarterback, because I think Frontenac's only chance to move the ball in this game is going to be trying to get something through the air. So I think pressuring the quarterback. And Frontenac, first and foremost, play for some pride out here. You've just been absolutely physically dominated. You've got some players that have been, injured, look like they may be done for the night. But it's time to man up out there and at least put up a fight. And offensively, I think that means throwing the football, to me, is the best chance as long as Beckman can get some time. Of course, one, if not two, starting offensive linemen are out of this game now, so that's backup, so it's going to be more difficult in protection. But I think you have to try it. And defensively, start getting in some gaps. They're just getting locked up with the linemen. They've got to get some gaps, get some penetration, and get off some blocks. It's the same thing we said from the get-go of this game. The Raider defense has just not been able to get off of the offensive lineman for Galena. And give credit to Galena's offensive line. They have played outstanding football for one half.
Yeah, and the Raider defense has been on the field so much that they haven't had much of a break from that offense. If you could get just kickoff, start the second half, maybe have a drive, put some points on the board, and get competitive here, that would help out too. But, boy, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of walking wounded after first half of this contest here on the Raiders sidelines. And
Johnson looked like his ankle was injured, and he required assistance off the field into the locker room. Maples went off.
He's on crutches right down here on the track.
Yeah, sure enough. All night long, Chastain, he's jogging along the sideline now, but he hasn't played all night long. A starter on defense and kind of a key player. He's been playing extremely well, and he's out. You got Bevins on the sideline down here. He's got his hand wrapped. Not sure what is going on there with that, but he doesn't have his helmet on. He's not warming up, so the injury's mounting for this Raider team.
And, we were talking earlier, and one of the things was you had the young team, not much experience, but on top of that, there wasn't a lot of depth. Now, we've been impressed with the first 3 games. We thought the Coach Smith has gotten a lot of kids in there, got them on the field, and some of the kids have stepped it up, and I think, gave them a little depth heading into this game. But that's the case. If you're thin going in and you start, getting nicked up, that makes it all the more tougher.
Yeah, and I think Bevins hurt his hand playing defense, which I don't think he's played any defense at all this year. He's been strictly offensive tackle. He's been out there on defense there in the first half, and I think that's when he got his hand hurt. But necessity dictates. You got to use everybody you have.
So both teams out warming up prior to the start of the second half, and Galena leads it 32-0. We'll be back with the second half kickoff after we take a 2-minute break. 2 minutes. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM.
Put a pad on it.
And Rob Strand, Randy Southern, Raiders Sports Complex. Nearing the start of the second half, Galena leads it 32-0. And again, the Raiders won the toss, deferred. Take the choice here to start the second half. They want the football and try and cut into that Bulldogs 32-0 lead.
And really important, the Raiders just not even necessarily for the game, but just to get some confidence, start to be able to try to move the football some here in the second half.
Yeah, again, J.C. Shelton tees it up at the 40-yard line. Back to receive the kick here, Shamira. And he's flanked by Strand, and that's Kubler, Kyle over there. And see if Raiders can get the football, have a nice drive here, put the points on the board, cut into that Bulldogs 32-0 lead, and dug a big hole in that first half. Shelton approaches again, a short kick. Rayo takes it on the fly, and he is brought down about the 41-yard line. That time took it on the fly and spun off a couple tacklers and able to get it at 41. That's where the Raiders will start 1st and 10. 41 trying to cut into the 32-0 deficit.
And trying to see who the couple of new linemen in. I believe that's Gustavo Herrera. He's come in at one of the tackle spots.
What we got now? We're trying to get the correct football out there for the Frontenac offense. Yeah. Poor effort by the official on the right side. He tried to get the football in and short hopped his partner, skipped past him. 1st and 10 Raiders. Their own 41-yard line, out of the eye. Beckman fakes a couple handle, puts it up, and it is caught, and that is Story, and he is going to be planted for no gain. A little tall on the pass. Story went up and got it, but by that time, the defender caught up.
Yeah, and that was J.C. Shelton with really good coverage on Story and a sure tackle. But I like the idea, get some play action going. Just Galena not really fooled.
Beckman through the air, 304, 21 yards. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders from their own 41-yard line. Hassan goes wide right, Cleveland wide left. Running backs in the eye behind the quarterback Beckman under the center. Verzop hit sweep left side and cutting inside. That is Rayo. He dances out across the 45, out near the 47, maybe the 48-yard line. Nice cutback, and it turns out to be a big game. One of the players left in the wake, and it looks like one of the Bulldogs down.
Yeah, and it looks like he might be holding his knee.
Yeah.
Hard to tell, and that, if I'm not mistaken, that looks like Helton.
It kind of caught in the wake there as Rayo started left and kind of cut it back and turned it in at about a 7-yard gain.
It's that cutback where the linebacker may have had to try to change direction quickly, may have twisted a knee or something.
Still
but
down.
Boy, would that be a big loss for Galena, and not just in this game, but depending on how bad the injury is for the rest of the season.
He has looked good. I mean,
both sides of the ball. Not just carrying the ball, but also plays middle linebacker, and has been ultra aggressive there.
Right. He's been playing for a few years too. He's one of those vets, and finally a senior. Raiders will face a 3rd and 7 from their own 47-yard line, but now got kind of quiet as one of the Bulldogs on the turf.
Taking an awful long look
right
at him there on the field.
Again, the Bulldogs will hit the road next week, go to Caney, take on Caney Valley. Team went into the night. They were unbeaten too, if I'm not mistaken. The Raiders will head over to Parsons, take on the Vikings next Friday.
Well, they've got him standing up on the field now. He's going to need a little assistance getting off the field, though.
Yeah, that's who it is. Oh, boy. Yep. Being helped to the far sideline, kind of leg injury and being helped. Boy, what a night so far for Joseph Helton. Unofficially 19 carries, 126 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like you say, vital in that defense there in the middle. Hopefully nothing serious, and we'll get back at it next week.
Well, back to the game, though. A big third down now for the Raiders. Third and a long 3, short 4.
11 minutes left here in the third quarter, and Galena with that big 32-0 lead. Wide to the right goes McDaniel. Wide to left, Ishimura. A little Clothier. Rail in the slot to the right. Out of the gun. Looking to throw. Beckman forced to scramble. Puts it up for grab. Throws it behind the intended receiver. And Clothier tried to make the adjustment. And I believe they're going to call pass interference as Sarwinski was there. But the ball was underthrown. And Clothier tried to make an adjustment. And they say Sarwinski must have got a hand on him. Call pass interference.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a gift there. And really, this is all Beckman could get on the throw. Pressure up the middle early and then scrambling to his left. More difficult to throw that way, and just got as much on it as he could. And Clothier did a good job trying to come back for the ball. And I don't know, maybe the Raider sideline did a little
politicking?
Yeah, maybe a little extra help for the official.
1st and 10 Raiders after the mark-off against the Bulldogs.
And this Raider first down brought to you by Larry Barrett Body Frame and Towing.
Raiders at the Bulldogs' 38-yard line. Beckman out of the gun. Blocking back to his right, Clothier. There's a pitch, sweep, and nothing doing. Boy, Clothier got planted back at the 45-yard line. Was that J.C. Sheldon came in and stopped him?
Yeah, it was, and a little bit of John going on now. And, there hasn't been, apparent watching it, much jawing going on, but definitely a little bit there. And that was a very badly missed block on the outside and just let him come in untouched.
So 2nd, 16 for the Raiders from the Bulldogs' 44-yard line. 10 minutes left here in the third quarter, and Galena with a 32-0 lead. Got trips left, one wide right. Beckman out of the gun. Oh, he drops a snap, and then he's planted back at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, and I think that snap was a good snap. Beckman, they were trying to do the little quick wide receiver screen with two blockers out there. He just tried to get rid of the ball a little too quickly, took his eyes off of it, and dropped it. It cost the Raiders a few more yards. And they may have had something that time. I'm not sure Galena lined up exactly how they wanted to. They really only had 2 DBs out there for 3 wide receivers and a safety kind of still in the middle of the field. So that play might have been there had it been executed properly.
3rd and 21, Raiders from the Bulldogs' 49-yard line. Beckman with the snap, going long over the middle, up for grabs, and it is almost picked on. Now a penalty flag is down, intended for Ishimura.
Yeah,
and
this is going to be on Jones.
I think he was grabbing him.
Yeah, I think he was grabbing him and holding him up.
And one of the Bulldog defenders almost undercut and had a shot at the pick, but penalty flag went down, so that wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, that was Blake Booth, who's out there free safety. Did a good job breaking on the ball to break it up. But I do think Jones was holding Ishimura as he was trying to get out there to the ball.
And the mark-off. Raiders will have the football at the Bulldogs' 34-yard line, where they'll face a 3rd, and let's call it 6.
Is that not an automatic first down?
Uh-huh.
Or is it just 15 yards? I don't know. Coach Smith was asking, I saw, but apparently the officials, they're keeping it 3rd down.
So it was, they had 21 to go. Now it's 6, so they got the 15-yard mark-off. Rolling right, Beckman pressured, big pressure, puts it up, and it is caught. No, they say he's out of bounds. That was Ishimura. Pass incomplete. Nice throw by Beckman, but just ran out of space along the sideline, did Ishimura.
Yeah, absolutely. Good throw. Now there's a penalty flag down on the far side, and it's going to be a personal foul, I think, roughing the passer against Galena. So this will be 15 more yards, and this is going to give the Raiders a first down. And this next Raiders first down brought to you by Larry Barrett, Body Frame and Towing.
8:43 remaining third quarter. Galena leads at 32-0. 1st and 10 Raiders from the 19 of the Bulldogs.
So nice drive. for the Raiders here now, aided by some penalties, sure, but, hey, you take it however you can get it at this point.
Hessong wide right, trips wide left. Out of the gun, Beckman now motion left to right goes Rayo. And give it to Rayo. And, oh, boy, nothing going. He's playing it back at the 25. Nothing there. Hit a stone wall, tried to reverse, and didn't have a prayer.
Well, you asked me, he kind of stopped as soon as he got the ball. You've got to go. That's got to be a dead sprint, and you've got to do whatever you can to get to that outside, and kind of stopped pretty quickly. Now, defensive line did a good job getting penetration for Galena, but still, you've got to try to get that to the outside.
2nd and 16 for the Raiders from the Bulldogs' 25-yard line with 8:09 left here in the third quarter, and Galena still at 32-0 lead. Shamir wide left. Slot left is Rayo. Now a timeout taken by the Raiders. 7:58 left third quarter. Galena leads at 32-0. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM.
Southeast 20, Northeast 0. Halftime, Erie 30, Riverton 6.
Rob Strand, Randy Southern, Raiders Sports Complex, 7:58 left third quarter. Galena still that 32-0 lead. The Raiders with a 2nd and 16 from the Galena 25-yard line. Out of the gun, Beckman looking left, puts it up, got a man open. It is Story. He is at the 15-yard line.
There's a flag down again on the far side.
Procedure. So that'll negate about a 10-yard gain on that pitch and catch from Beckman to Story.
Well, it's the second time on this drive the Raiders have gone with that same formation, and both times they have left Story uncovered. The Raiders didn't really see it the first time. This time they do, but it's going to all for naught as it's coming back on the procedure penalty.
So the 5-yard mark off, it'll be 2nd and 21 for the Raiders from the Bulldogs 30. Got a drive going here, but kind of stumbling right now.
Well, it's been a penalty-laden drive on both teams now.
Wide right goes Cleveland. Slot right, Story. Wide left to Shamira. Slot left, Rayo. So there's blocking back for Beckman. Gets it right side, and there's Cleveland on the catch down to about the 26-yard line for a short gain.
And a good tackle by Jones. That's one of those the Raiders are hoping Cleveland can make a move and make some more out of it, which he's been able to do, in other games so far this year. But Jones with a real good job coming up quickly and making a sure tackle.
3rd and 17 Raiders at the Bulldogs 26-yard line. Down to 6:56 left third quarter. Galena with that 32-0 lead. Shamira wide left, Cleveland wide right. Now in the slot to right goes Rayo. Out of the gun, Beckman. Behind him, Clothier. They fake the handoff. Beckman, boy, he's pressured, and he's going to run out of time, and he is sacked back at the 34-yard line. Back there, nice defensively by Case and Russell. Also,
of course, you've got backup offensive linemen as 2 Raiders starters have gone down in this game, and just the floodgates opened on that play. But today I was watching downfield, and even if he had time, really nowhere to throw the football for Beckman.
So 4th and 25 for the Raiders from the 34 of the Bulldogs. Out of the gun. Couple wide outs right, one left, looking to throw. Beckman puts it up, complete to Story, and makes the catch, but he's dragged down at the 34-yard line. There's no gain.
Well, good discipline by the Galena defense. Coach Smith trying to get everything going to the right, and they did the tight end drag back to the near side, hoping the flow of everything going to the right. Beckman rolled a little to the right, but I tell you, Galena's defense stayed very disciplined. Everyone stayed at home, And really, Story had no chance.
So 1st and 10 as the Bulldog defense holds Galena at its 34-yard line with 5:52 left third quarter, leading at 32-0. Again, Joseph Helton went out with an injury. We've got Lawson behind the quarterback, Shelton. Penalty flag is down, and they're trying the left side. That is Sarwinski.
I think Raiders may have 12 men on the field here, possibly. This flag was thrown by the back judge as soon as the ball was snapped. And it is 12 men on the field. But, they just recounted, and no, they do have 11, so no penalty.
That 6-yard gain by Sarwinski on that carry. 2nd and 4 for the Bulldogs from their own 40-yard line. Down to 5:40 left third quarter, and Galena with that 32-0 lead. And at halftime, Raiders a time-consuming drive, but finally held on a 4th down, and there's a give, and straight up the gut. The time is Cooper Lawson, and he picks up about 5 yards.
And it's just the same old story. Galena comes out to start the second half, their first possession in the second half, and it worked in the first half. You keep doing it, just straight ahead.
1st and 10, Bulldogs from their own 46-yard line. Again, the quarterback, who's Shelton, under the center. Gives it the dive, and that is Lawson. Boy, he's stoned, and then second effort, he dives out near midfield. Now, did they say he went down back at about the 47? An official on the near side going to go and give him a couple yards.
Yeah, better job up front, not getting pushed back too badly. It is kind of fun to watch Galena's backs run, too. I mean, just how hard they fight. And it's amazing, they don't lose the ball that way either. They don't fumble it when they're struggling for extra yards.
2nd and 8, Bulldogs from their own 48-yard line. That is Lawson again, and he drags tacklers down to the Raiders' 46-yard line.
That's just it. 3 guys hit him about a yard past the line of scrimmage, and instead of a 1-yard gain, it's a 6-yard gain. And that's just good, hard running. 9
carries, 41 yards for Cooper Lawson. In third, and a couple for the Bulldogs. Football shy of the Raiders' 45-yard line. Get under center, Shelton with Lawson behind him. Shelton's going to take it straight up the middle and gets it down inside the 40 for the first down. 11 carries unofficially for 76 yards. And a touchdown for J.C. Shelton. And the Bulldogs with the 1st and 10 at the Raiders' 40-yard line with 3:55 left third quarter. And Galena with that 32-0 lead.
Yeah, and just no signs of slowing down in this first drive, just the same as the first half.
Wideouts to both sides. Slot to the left. Split back. There's the give. That is Lawson. And he stopped after a gain of a couple.
And McCartney, this time he was able to come off the block and put a shoulder into his waist. That's how no arm tackle or anything. Put a good shoulder into him and kept that one to just the 1 yard.
2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs. Football shy of the Raiders' 38-yard line. And the 3:15 left here in the third quarter. And Galena with that 32-0 lead. Wide left goes Whelan. Slot to the right is Sarwinski. Split backs behind Shelton. There's a give.
Oh.
And up the middle and carry by A.J. Holmes.
Well, I tell you, some kind of block. Cooper Lawson just laid out the defensive end. Just a complete pancake. Just shoulder right to the chest and down, as he was the lead blocker on that play.
1st and 10, Bulldogs now at the Raiders' 28-yard line. Holmes still in that backfield. Now Sarwinski, and he tries the left side. And short gain, not much there.
And play defended well, but just still He was almost close to breaking that one after about 5 different guys hit him. And now you got 2 Raiders getting up slowly.
We're involved in the stop on Sarwinski, and it was friendly fire or what. And then he got a couple of them down. And
it's Trey
one thing
Strand.
Frontenac does not need. They've had plenty go to the sidelines here in this contest.
I think that might be Rayo, possibly. One's Trey Strand, the other might be Ryan Rayo, but I'm not positive.
2:26 left here in the third quarter. Galena leads at 32-0. Why don't we take a 30-second break, and you're listening to Frontenac football on 103.5 FM. Rob Strand, Randy Southern, Raiders Sports Complex. We have 2:26 left, third quarter. Galena leads at 32-0. We're in opening of district play. Again, the Raiders on the road at Parsons next Friday, while Galena goes to Caney Valley. Festa next weekend, Randy. I know you're excited about that.
Oh, absolutely.
2nd and 9 for the Bulldogs. Football resting at the Raiders' 28-yard line. Galena trying to add to its 32-0 lead. Shelton under the center. There's a give once again to Lawson. And he stood up at the 25-yard line after a gain of 3.
Dylan Ench making another play out there. And Dylan, just a sophomore, had been in a lot tonight and has been able to get in on a few plays.
Bulldogs facing a 3rd and 6 from the Raiders, 25-yard line. Some folks sticking around on homecoming. Again, congratulations to Caroline McKnight, the queen, and Cale Franklin, the king. And the crowning prior to kickoff, and it's been all Galena. And here's the give, and is that Holmes once again picking his way out down near the 21-yard line.
But even he comes in, runs hard. He's hit about a yard down the field and still managed to pick up a few more and setting up this 4th and, about 3? Maybe a short 3, long 2.
Bulldogs from the Raiders' 22-yard line. With a minute left, third quarter, and Galena with a 32-0 lead. Some Raiders fans hoping for a defensive stop. Bulldogs out of the wishbone. There's left side Serwinski. He's got the first down and more. Still on his feet. And finally dragged down near the 7-yard line.
Well, that's just it. You sell out and for the run right up the middle, and the quarterback sneak probably is what you're thinking. So you sell out up the middle. He breaks it off to the off tackle, and once he got past the line, there really wasn't a lot left. I think that was McDaniel that came over and made the tackle or that would have been a touchdown.
So 1st and goal for the Bulldogs at the Raiders' 5-yard line with 29 seconds left, third quarter. Leading at 32-0 and threatening. Shelton under the center. There's Serwinski trying the left side, and he's going to go in for the touchdown. Serwinski scores from 5.
Yeah, another well-blocked play by Galena. Relatively easy touchdown. And tell you what, I'm pretty sure that ought to be the last you see of the starters for Galena, I would think.
Well, and I think that might be wise. You head to Caney next weekend, but if you see how many have gone over to the Raiders sideline nicked up, and of course, and Hilton go to the sideline with an injury. Better be thinking health. They're going to try and kick the extra point this time, and that is J.C. Shelton, and he put it through. 17.9 seconds left here in the third quarter. Galena with the 39-0 lead. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM. Rob Strand and Randy Southard. Raiders Sports Complex, 17.9 seconds left here in the third quarter. Galena stretches its lead to 39-0. Bulldogs to kick off, and he's handling the kick, and they're going to change the kicker as Alberto Gongora, and he ended up at the 40-yard line. Back to receive the kick is Shamira, flanked by Strand and Kubler. Raiders fans up, trying to get something going. See if they can get a nice return. Again, the short kick, the near side, still on the turf, and then it rolls out of bounds.
I tell you, Rob, I see on the far side, Helton pads off and walking towards the exit with some assistance over there, but he is putting some weight on his leg, which isn't the end-all, be-all, but hopefully that's a good sign, and that young man's not injured too badly.
Yeah, a heck of a game here tonight. Like I said, officially 19 carries, 126 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and then again, he's in the middle of that defense. Quite an anchor in there. Yeah, he come up. I think he got either caught a cutback, trying to cut back, or got in the wake of some run and just was down, and didn't exactly see it, but hopefully it's nothing major. 1st and 10 Raiders from their own 38-yard line. Beckman under center. Shamira left, goes in motion left to right. Going to give the Rayo, and not much there. He tried the right side, maybe gained a yard at most, and that was it.
Yeah, had an initial bit of a push, but then the linebackers filled quickly, and they've moved Logan Henderson from corner. They've moved him to middle linebacker, and he filled the hole pretty nicely.
It's the end of the third quarter. Galena leads at 39-0. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM.
What's the buzz around Community National Bank and Trust? They're talking mobile banking, instant issue debit cards, rewards checking and credit cards, and let's not forget e-power checking, paying better than CD-like rates on a checking account, plus nationwide ATM fee refunds. Get in on the buzz. Community National Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
What do you want from your bank?
Quisiera acceso a la información de mi cuenta en mi teléfono.
Security, convenience, and friendly staff.
When I call, I like to speak to a real person.
I want it all. Low fees, low loan rates, and high deposit rates.
What if there was a place like this in your community? There is KTCCU, with locations in Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, Independence, and Coffeyville, serving area residents since 1949.
That's under center. Beckman reverses out, rolls right, looking to throw, looking for a receiver. Puts it up, and it's thrown behind the intended receiver. That's Clothier, and it's picked off by A.J. Holmes.
And really Beckman had no place to go with this football. I thought maybe he could at least run the ball and pick up a couple of yards, and if he didn't think he could run with it, then that's one you just have to throw away. He decided to try to force the ball down the field, trying to get it to Clothier, but there's nowhere for that ball to sneak in, and throws the interception.
So the interception, ball over to the Bulldogs. Start 1st and 10 from their own 48-yard line. 11:50 remaining and 39-0 lead. So clean jerseys in from that Bulldog sideline.
We got a score update. Girard at Burlington at the end of the third quarter. Burlington 28, Girard 6.
So you have a timeout. I think we're trying to set its offense here for the final quarter, leading 39-0. And well, this is a tough one. We hope to have Mark Smith up for some post-game comments, but I don't know if this is one of those that there's a lot to work on, obviously, but, do you just say, hey, put it behind us and got to play Parsons next Friday?
Well, I think that's what you have to do, and hopefully the injuries aren't too bad. You don't know what's going to happen there with the Raiders that have gone down tonight. So I think to the team, he probably goes to the locker room and says, we forget this one, move on, try to learn from it. But I guarantee he's not very happy walking along that sideline right now.
So after the Bulldogs timeout, we'll face a 1st and 10 from their own 48-yard line. And again, Galena at Caney Valley next Friday. Frontenac Parsons. Of course, you'll hear that on 103.5 FM. We'll stream it live at ESPN1007.com. Of course, you'll have the Pitt State Gorillas at home, Nebraska Kearney tomorrow on all the MyTown media stations. You can listen to the Gorillas, off to a good start. We not have enough out there now. Apparently not enough on the Bulldogs with the play clock down to 7. They finally get set. Logan Henderson, the quarterback, and gives it to the single setback. That's Aiden Adamson. And he loses a couple yards.
And got a little penetration on the defensive line this time. Able to make a nice stop for the loss. The Raiders pretty well have all the starters out of the game on defense now. Strictly JV. I don't think I see a single starter from McDaniel at corner. I believe is the only starter on the field.
Clothier in there in the linebacker spot too.
Yep, those two, and that's it.
So 2nd and 12 for the Bulldogs from their own 47-yard line. Boy, almost handling the snap, but still able to bat his way down into Raiders territory. And I believe it was Sarwinski on the carry, was able to pick up about 3 tough yards.
A little surprised he's in the game yet. He plays quite a bit with the normal varsity team, and again, it's one of those you just got to be careful of the injury bug here, especially the way this night has gone.
Well, if you don't know the situation with Helton now, maybe called on to carry a bigger load in that Bulldogs backfield. 10-12 remaining. Galena leads at 39-0. Bulldogs with a 3rd and 8 from the Raiders 49. And there's a give. And there's Adamson. Boy, nice run there. No, I take that back. That is, Holmes has had some nice runs, and he got a first down.
And good hard running there, too. It's contagious with their backs. They're all going to run hard. You're going to have to stop them to get them on the ground. It's not going to happen with arm tackles.
Holmes, a sophomore, and officially 3 carries for 23 yards and first down Galena from the Frontenac 40-yard line. Wide to the right goes Dylan Anderson. Wide to the left is Cameron Jones. Anderson under the center. Versus out, gives it to Sarwinski. Tries the right side. Not much there. Gang tackle. Actually, no gain for Nick Sarwinski, and officially 8 carries for 45 yards. 2nd and 10, Bulldogs from the Raiders 40.
Pretty good job of stuffing that hole that time. Defensive line didn't allow themselves to get pushed back. Linebacker came in, filled the hole as well.
Play comes from the far side. Relayed to Logan Henderson. He's a junior. Under center. Single setback is Sarwinski. And the give, turning the right corner is A.J. Holmes. Got some room and got a first down and more, and cuts back and finally brought down the 25-yard line.
Well, this is where you get the backups in the game, and the discipline isn't quite as sharp because they fake up the middle. They run kind of the end around, a little bit of a reverse action, and Raider defense kind of got sucked in and had good yardage to the outside.
1st and 10, Galena from the Frontenac 25-yard line with 8.5 minutes remaining. Galena trying to add that 39-0 lead. Henderson out of the gun. Single running back behind him is Sarwinski. And the play clock wind down. And Henderson keeps it, follows a block right side and cuts back. Nice gain. Close to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, and that time had a nice hole. Run that same quarterback follow play. Both backs go through the hole as lead blockers. And got a good push so that the defensive line needs to get those gaps, get some penetration.
So a pickup of 9 by Logan Henderson. And the Bulldogs with a 2nd and 1 from the Raiders' 16-yard line. Wide to the right side goes M.J. Jones. Wide to left. Then is Cameron Jones. Henderson the snap. Gives it to Zarwinski. Right side's got the first down. He's down near the 12-yard line.
And Rob, I finally see a score on the Caney at Columbus. Caney Valley up 24-0 at Columbus.
And again, Galena at Caney Valley next Friday. Frontenac travels to Parsons. 1st and 10. Galena from the Frontenac 12-yard line. Henderson wide left. Jones wide right. Out of the gun. Henderson going to keep it. Drives it up the middle. He's got some room. Bowls over a tackle, and he gets down near the 2-yard line.
Well, this is looking a lot like the first half, and every other time Galena has held the football. Their offensive line doing a good job of getting some push and just creating big holes.
2nd and 1. Bulldogs from the Raiders' 3-yard line. Down to 6.5 minutes remaining. Henderson under now. Call the timeout. Does Galena with 6:17 remaining. Bulldogs up 39-0. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM. Rob Strand, Randy Southard. 6:17 remaining. Galena leads at 39-0. Bulldogs threaten with a 2nd and 1 from the Raiders' 3. Henderson gives it tailback. That's Sarwinski in there. Takes it in for the score.
Yeah, same thing. Just straight ahead and able to carry a Raider defender into the end zone. And now I think that we're going to get a running clock because for this PAT, the clock is running. So,
and see how the Bulldogs will go for the 2. They did kick it the one time. Shelton got one through the uprights after a touchdown, but we're going to go for 2. Henderson under the center. And gives it. Turning in the right corner is Aiden Adamson. And he got in, but a penalty flag is down.
Yeah, this one thrown by the umpire. I think this is going to go against Galena. So I'll take the 2 off the board, and they'll have to go, chop block.
Illegal block. Put him back. And, the running clock. We're down to 5:05. And the penalty against the Bulldogs takes the 2-point conversion by Aiden Adamson off the board. And we'll try again. Didn't take enough that first time, did they? Had to go back. Needed 15 and only gave him 10. And the clock winding as we try to get this 2-point conversion attempt. Henderson under the center. Pitch, sweep right side. That's Anderson. He's going to try again. He's got some blocking, cuts inside, and he's going to go in for the 2-point conversion. Pretty impressive as Aiden Adamson, the senior, scores the 2-point conversion. So the Bulldogs increase their lead to 47-0.
Yeah, and this has just been a very, very rough night for the Raiders tonight. And give a lot of credit to Galena. They've played extremely well. They've not done anything fancy or flashy at all. They just came out and basically ran right at the Raiders, and the Raiders just have not been able to stop it the entire night. It doesn't matter who's on the field.
And boy, the opening kickoff from the get-go, that just set the tone, and they haven't stopped.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure they've scored every single time they've touched the football. I believe they have.
That's a good possibility.
I know
they were getting toward the waning moments of the second half. We were wondering if they, without the kicking game, they were taking their time, but they were able to punch it in. So that very well could be. They got 6 scores. And you look at the unofficial stat sheet, but it's just, you can sometimes just glance at it and know who dominated the game, and that's the case right here.
Just number of plays.
And the kickoff. It's going to be taken by, I'm trying to see who is that. That's Gates, yeah. Nice return out to the 36, maybe the 37-yard line. Took it straight up the middle, and with the clock moving with 2:42 remaining, Galena 47-0 lead, and the Raiders going to try and just wind down and get prepared to go to Parsons next Friday.
Yeah, and Parsons playing well. They're winning 29-0 over Baxter tonight, so it looks like they are going to get another W. Could be a difficult game over there.
Oh, an errant snap. Kubler at quarterback goes back and falls on it at the 20-yard line.
With the injuries to 3 more starters tonight for the Raiders, we'll see if Chastain's back for next week. He's been moving around on the sideline quite a bit tonight. So I expect Chastain to be back for next week. We'll see how badly injured the other 3 players that got dinged up tonight, how bad they are, and see about their availability for next week. Parsons, I don't believe, will be a pushover whatsoever.
Kubler, junior quarterback in there, now under the center this time with a 2nd and 28 for the Raiders from their own 20-yard line. And the play clock wound down. They're going to mark off 5 more and take the Raiders back to the 15-yard line where they'll face a 2nd and 33.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how that happened, but they may have even been short a player, the Raider offense. Just, an off night all the way around for this Raider team, no doubt.
Kubler under the center. Goes it. There's the dive. Not much going there. That time they gave it to, on the carry that time was Justice Compton.
Yeah, freshman getting out there and getting his hands on the ball. What I think this coming up play probably be the last one.
And it's clock winding down, and Kubler into the center, running backs in the eye behind him. They give it to the tailback and lowers his shoulder. He will battle his way out to the 20-yard line. And that time on the carry was Storm Nix.
And the clock now down to 10 seconds, and we'll see if the Raiders come out of the huddle or not. It looks like they may be trying to get one more play in, but they're not. No, they're not. They're not going to get anything off.
So that'll do it. The Galena Bulldogs shut out the Frontenac Raiders 47-0. We'll be back with the unofficial stat scoring summary and update you on some scores and talk with Coach Mark Smith. We'll do that after a 1-minute break. 1 minute. You're listening to Frontenac Football on 103.5 FM.